Let's take you back to a bad memory. Accident at sea. For 4 days, your boat has, in a sense, had to be dismasted. Is that the correct technical phrase? Okay, dismasted. And a storm has hit. You're there, you're alone, and you're waiting for help. Can you take us back there?
Sure. So first thing, it is not exactly a bad memory.
It's not?
No.
You almost died.
Yeah, but let me tell you what happened at that point, what I was feeling.
Yeah.
So I'd done the project with my money. I had a bit of sponsorship, but that was not enough to cover the entire expense. So I had to, let's say, borrow in crores to build the boat and do the entire thing. Financially, I was broke. I knew that I was going to lose my boat. So there's no chance of coming back and selling the boat and recovering some money. I knew something was wrong with my spine. My wife was pregnant. I wasn't sure, even if I'm rescued, I'll be able to walk ever again in my life. And I thought probably this is the best time to cry because, it can't get lower than that.
Do you cry?
No, I laughed at it.
You were there alone, almost dying, and you laughed?
I just couldn't bring that emotion of, tears and all those things.
Was it shock?
Well, it was a big change because till then I was doing quite well in the race. I was running third in a boat that was expected to finish last.
Yeah.
This was a 1923 design boat compared to others who had, boats that were at least 50 years later in terms of design, and they were expected to be 30% faster than me, but I was in third position. So I was surprising a lot of people. But suddenly, fate decides to deal that hand.
So what happened? What was this storm like? Tell people who can't even visualize it, leave alone being in the middle of it.
All right. We had the cyclone Tokte, which hit us a few years back.
Yeah.
It just, whipped across the Arabian Sea. I think 60 people died. This one was worse than that.
Wow.
It had about 70-75 knot winds in it, and the entire system whipped across the ocean. So usually they move at about 15-20 knots. The entire system is moving slow, but there's a lot of wind in it. This one moved at 3 times the typical speed of a storm. And the seas were confused. I had about 15-meter high seas. That's like, let's say, 5-6 story building. That's the height of each wave. Now, 1 cubic meter of water weighs 1 ton. Now, imagine a wave that's 15 meters high and probably 50 meters wide. And not just one wave, they keep crashing, crashing. So what happened was that there was a lot of confused seas, and my boat got flipped. It capsized, or we call it a knockdown. And in that,
a knockdown,
yeah. So I got separated from the boat, and I was hanging onto the mast. Now I got pressed underwater like this, and when the boat flipped straight, I was on top of the mast.
Wow.
And my hand got stuck in a steel wire rope. So I was...
For how long?
A few seconds. So I was hanging there like that. My intention was to slide down, so that didn't happen. I was hanging like that with a lot of heavy clothing, Southern Ocean clothing. It turns out it was my wristwatch that got stuck in the steel wire. Its strap broke. I fell down and I hit my back on the boom like that, and then I fell on the deck. And then I crawled inside and everything was a mess. I had gas leak, diesel leak. I had charts in the water. I had pillows stuck on the ceiling, forks, knives everywhere.
I mean, it's just like you see in the movies, except that it actually happened to you.
Yeah. It's like you take your house and turn it upside down this way, that way, and put it back, and imagine the chaos.
And there's a storm raging outside.
Yes. It's all movie style, I would say.
And then
I cleaned up everything. I was on my knees cleaning things up. But after 15-20 minutes, when I tried to stand, my knees just buckled. I was falling down. I thought maybe my legs have gone weak. Then I pulled myself up like this. And then when I let my hands go, again my knees buckled and I fell. And I knew something was wrong with my back.
Yeah.
So I sat in Vajrasan, did some stretches and tried to stand, didn't work. And
Amazing.
I thought it was not right to take any further risk. So I crawled and climbed onto the bunk and I sent a distress message.
And the help came how much later than the distress message?
On the 4th day. So
there were 4 days between your sending for help and the help coming because of practical reasons. It took that long.
Yeah, so it's a lot of people ask me, why couldn't they just send a helicopter? Helicopters can't fly 4,000 kilometers and pick someone up and come back 4,000 kilometers. So what they do is they divert the nearest ship. And since it was a very lonely place, this is, the middle of the South Indian Ocean between Australia and South Africa, dead south of India, at least 4,000 kilometers from any nearest land. You don't have too many ships. There's not too much trade happening. But luckily, the French have a few islands there. You've got Kerguelen, St. Paul, Amsterdam, and Crozet. And they maintain a patrol vessel to, patrol that area for any fisheries infringement and all that. So one of those vessels happened to be around, I think it was about 1,000 kilometers away. And they had to wait for the storm to die. And they were diverted to pick me up.
Now, in those 4 days, you could have actually died, right?
Yes.